Alright, so as promised, in today's video, I'm going to share with you a dedicated teardown experience for the ROG Azoth Extreme. The best ROG keyboard, but also one of the most, if not the most expensive gaming keyboards out in the market. Let's see how it's built and maybe we can find out why it is so expensive. Let's get into it. By the way, in case you missed my review of this keyboard, you can watch it by clicking this or maybe after this teardown video. Alright, so let's start with the basic stuff. Let me just remove all the keycaps first. There you go. What we have here is the ROG NX Storm variant, which are clicky switches. I'll remove this later because I feel like that's easier to do without the aluminum top case. Now, tearing this keyboard apart is actually pretty easy. All you have to do is remove a couple of these screws on both sides. And then after that, remove all the screws at the bottom. All the screws are at the same height, which is nice. After that, you can now easily lift the top cover like so. As you can tell, we have some gaskets around the top cover. And if you haven't noticed yet, compared to the ROG Azoth with an acrylic plastic cover on the display, this one doesn't have one and just has the bare OLED display. More on that later. Next, gently lift the PCB and plate combo and carefully remove the ribbon cable. By the way, you don't have to remove the ribbon cable if you simply want to remove the bottom silicone dampener because there's a cut that allows you to easily remove it. So yeah, we have a silicone dampener right here that in theory reduces the hollow sound of the bottom case. You can remove this if you want a softer typing feel. Even though it's not visible, ROG included some design here that adds to the overall premium feel. Unnecessary? Yes. Cool? Definitely. And yeah, it probably contributes to the cost as well. Now, looking at the bottom case, we have a bunch of protrusion here for the adjustable gasket mount. Later, we'll discuss exactly how it works. Aside from the silicone dampener, we also have a sort of protection here on the bottom case, and of course, with some ROG design as well, because why not? Then we also have the leaf springs all around the bottom case. This actually works hand in hand with those protrusions for the adjustable gasket mount design. Now, removing the protective cover reveals another plastic material with those protrusions. It also has some lubricant for a smoother sliding mechanism. Then underneath that, we have the PCB for the USB Type-C port and some of the wireless components also with some protection. We also have here the battery and the PCB for the tri-mode connectivity and the OLED display. Speaking of the OLED display, as I alluded to earlier, we don't have any cover anymore and just the bare glass of the OLED display. I didn't realize this before because of how precise the cut of the CNC top cover was. Now, like I mentioned in my review, the middle part at the back side of the keyboard is plastic that serves as a window for the wireless signal to pass through. This is actually very important for the wireless stability and performance. Now, moving on, let me just remove all the switches so that we can take a closer look at the PCB and plate combo. After removing the switches, we just need to remove some screws here. And as you can tell, the plate is made out of genuine carbon fiber material which is quite rigid while still offering some level of cushion. We also have here the proprietary ROG stabilizers, but should you choose a different route, you can also use standard plate or screw-in stabilizers on this. Next, we have a pore and foam dampener in between the PCB and plate. And instead of the usual IXPE foam, we have a pore and switch pad here that acts as a sort of sound filter to make the sound signature deeper. And finally, we have the PCB, of course, again, with some ROG design. As you can tell, the platform for the stabilizers is a bit recessed. That's why they included some pads should you choose to use standard stabilizers here. Interestingly, the hot swap sockets are made by Kailh. Now, let's talk about how the adjustable gasket mount works, and it's actually pretty clever. At the back of the PCB, we have some plastic material which gets in contact with the plastic protrusion at the bottom and acts as a stopper that minimizes the action of the leaf spring when in hard mode. It slides right in and stops the PCB and plate combo from engaging the leaf spring fully, which I think is absolutely clever. To be honest, this is the first time I've seen this kind of design on a mechanical keyboard. Is it worth it though for the additional cost? I don't think so, but definitely a unique feature. Now, putting it all back together is as simple as reversing the process. And while we're at it, I'm going to replace the ROG NX switches with these ACO V3 creamy yellow switches because these actually work with cherry profile keycaps on a north-facing socket keyboard like this. And speaking of the keycaps, I'm still going to use my all-time favorite budget ACO Silent PBT keycaps. Now, before I share with you my final thoughts, here's a quick sound test for you guys. Overall, to conclude, as you can tell, the way this keyboard is built is different. There are some unnecessary design elements that definitely add to the cost, but there are also some quite unique and interesting design implementations that you otherwise won't find on any other gaming keyboard, like the adjustable gasket mount partnered with the leaf spring design, not to mention the perfect full-color touchscreen OLED display and the overall intricate details of the aluminum casing. However, I still don't think those things justify the quite hefty $500 price tag of this keyboard, especially in today's meta. This is definitely a niche premium keyboard targeted towards those who don't care about their money. Also, I feel like this keyboard's release is a bit late, considering what other brands have to offer in terms of competitive advantage with that Hall effect, rapid trigger, and dynamic keystroke features. If they released this a few years back, it's definitely going to stand out even for its price. Other than that, well, this is still the current best gaming keyboard ROG has to offer. And there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Again, if you missed my full review of it, I highly suggest you watch it after this. And in case you're interested in purchasing this, I'll keep the description updated. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you appreciate this video, and see you next time. Have a great day, guys. You're awesome.